Hey folks, I hope you're doing well. Let me know if you can hear me, let me know if there's any problems with the audio. It's looking good. Pusher's already been complaining about the music being too quiet before. Last week it was too loud, so this week it's too quiet. I don't know. We'll find a better volume next time, I'm sure. But good evening folks. I can see lots of people in chat. Please click here, go first with the number 9. Thank you very much for that, dude. You saw me testing the chat earlier on. Thanks very much. I'm Karcher here as well. Pusher, Nathan Alfman, R6, Mr. Wonton. He wanted to see my Rama knob. Here it is in all its beautiful glory. This lovely brass PVD Rama knob. There you go. You might even be able to make out the text. I'm not quite sure how well that's going to focus on the text. Let's see. Let's see. Come on, camera. There you go. You can just about read it there. But it is really rather nice. It covers in fingerprints. It's easy to get fingerprints all over it, I'll be honest. But it is really rather lovely, and I'll be popping it on My Satisfaction 75 at some point soon. Existentially yours, Pocket Ace, Slippery Pete are here as well. Slippery Pete says Windows, nice. Oxy's here saying hi, Jay. Noah's here as well. So as I'm sure you're aware, guys, Noah Fanosh, who's in chat, it's going to be his board that we're building today, the prototype of his Doppelgänger board. I'm probably pronouncing the German version of that wrong, but I'll let the Germans in the chat correct me if that's the case. We've got Frisco Melt here, Odin, Straight Classy as well. Straight Classy, thank you very much for the sticker, my dude. That's look how nice the stickers are. This is the first time I've ever had lubed switches from Classy, but he has these really nice stickers. Yeah, this is the safe one. He even sent me a nice little note. How cute is that? So if you guys, and also as well, Classy switches are lubed to perfection. So if you guys are looking for a switch luber, do hit him up. Mr. Wonton says, nice knob, thanks very much. Jewelum says, Gib Kipora, no. I've got quite a few of them actually, there's quite a few just loose here as well. I don't know. Yeah, just Kiporas everywhere. Quite possibly my favourite sculpt of all time. Someone did mention if we're going to have the marshmallow switches on stream today. Sorry, but we're not. Only Brian has samples of those. I don't have any samples of them, so I can't build with those, I'm afraid. Today we're going to be building with Telios, which are straight from Straight Classy, which Noah's provided for this particular build as well. Milo Def says, hey man. Hui says hi. Max Surfy's here as well. Saltwater says, is it worth getting a KBD6 Mark II? Also pre-ordered the Drop Halo Clear so that I can make some Holy Pandas with Trash Pandas. I'll be ordering sometime. So nice job on the tactile switches, dude. The KBD67 Mark I, which was my budget board of the year for 2018, is actually pretty good. I haven't tried a Mark II yet, so I can't really comment on that, but it does look good for the money. Although I have seen some people complain about problems with the plates if they're using the hot swap version of the board. So I think if you're going to solder the board, perfect. If you're going to use hot swap, there might be some issues there. It all depends on how I don't know, into that kind of fiddling around and making something sound better you are. Functional as well, subscribed at tier 1, says, hey Jay, happy Sunday. Thank you very much, Functional. We appreciate that, dude. We love all of our subs, so thank you very much, guys. There were quite a few before the stream as well. Quite a few people following as well. Osiris TV also resubbed just before the stream as well, so thank you very much, Osiris. Straight Classy, where can people find your order form? Just reach out to me on Discord. I'm sure if you want to post a link to an order form, Classy, you go ahead and do it, my dude. What's your keycaps? On this particular board, I am using GMK Metropolis. I'll bring that to the side, you can probably see it a little bit better. This is on my E6.5 in polycarbonate, so that's GMK Metropolis. Mr. Wonton as well with 500 and some bits. How many is that? 510 bits. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you for the bits. Love a bit of bits. Get that bit jar filled. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that a lot. Frisco Metal says C3 stabs, C3 stabs, C3 stabs. Yes, I've got some coming. They're currently sat with Super Buy, so hopefully they'll be with me soon. I'm wondering if that was the email off them. It's not. So yeah, we'll have some of those soon. We are going to be building with some of the Everglide stabs as well today, so I'm going to donate some of the new smoky Everglide stabs to Noah for this particular build. We're going to do a bit of a trade for his new GMK ones, and he's going to get these ones, so looking forward to building with these and trying them out a little bit. If I move my snack to one side, I'm not sure why that's on stream, it's just some chocolate. Duckcom says, what do you think of the C3 stabs? So I think they're going to be really good in terms of trying new materials. Sorry, let me clarify. I don't think the stabs are necessarily going to be good, but I think what it is really good is to see people trying new materials, slightly new designs, refining stuff, things like that. In terms of what I think about how they're going to be, I wouldn't want to say until I get some on hand. I do have pretty much every other type of stab to compare them to. The only ones I don't have are the old EPBT stabs, but I do have Zeal stabs, GMK stabs. You've seen that I've got the Everglide stabs, and I've got those in all three colours, clear, smoky and pink, and I've got the C3 stabs coming in all of the different colours as well. So hopefully I'll be able to get those all on stream, do maybe a couple of hot swap builds, something like that. We can test them all out. Saltwater says, yes, I'm intending to get the soldered version. Also want to do a stepped caps lock and possibility split backspace. Yeah, stepped caps lock is the only caps lock in my view. No, it's saying Classy has the good loot. He does. Everything looks good on polycarb. That's true. That's true. Milo Duff says, I'm that weird kind of keyboards dude, by the way. Ah, nice. Well, Milo, thank you very much for joining the stream. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, Milo and I have been talking about the Canone, or I think I'm pronouncing that right, tell me if I'm not. Canone, Cone 1, whatever you want to call it, the Canone, which is that angular kind of edged keyboard that we looked at on Top Clack during the week. So we've been talking about that. So yeah, so interesting stuff there. And I think there was some little hints and some secrets on Instagram earlier on today. I forgot the name of the platform then. On Instagram earlier on today, where we could now see the mount type. It looks like it's going to be a bottom mount keyboard, the two cases connected by magnets. It all looks really rather interesting. Thanks, Jay. I'll post it real quick, but enough about me. This board is amazing. Thanks, Classy. Yeah, people, if you want loop switches, do hit up Classy. I'm dead looking forward to showing you guys the Doppelgänger and building this shortly. Like your mouse pad, thank you. This was a gift from Dixie back when he was a sponsor for Top Clack. He sent me this one. It was the only one I had that was clean. They all went through the washer yesterday, and there's some that aren't quite dry yet, so I needed a nice clean desk mount. My Metropolis one got a little bit of lube on it last week, so I had to put that in the washer to clean it. Azil, my favourite stabs. Honestly, no, I prefer GMK when GMK are good. The new GMK ones, not so much. I do prefer. I do think that quite possibly right now on the market, the Zeal ones are probably the best stabilisers. But in terms of cost, bang for buck, my money's on Everglide until GMK come up with something new, or until I try the C3 ones. So right now, bang for buck, I would say the Everglides are probably the better ones. Okay, Zeal and GMK stabs, plate mount, not screw in. Okay, so you can only get Zeal in screw in, he doesn't do plate mount. I would advise against going for plate mount switches unless you can really help it, Jaycon, as well. Just wanted to know. Jay saying lube me up daddy style, lol. Yeah. Duckcom says, have you built a Duck Orion V3? If so, how did you remap it to ISO? I have a Duck Orion, I have never built it, it's still in my garage. So there we go. No, GA doesn't have plate mounts. There we go. Do you just throw your desk pads in the wash? Well, I don't. My wife does. So what they do is we put them in the washing machine on a 30-degree wash with some fabric softener and some washing powder, just a very limited amount. Put 3 or 4 in at the same time, and they go in there. And then I lay them out flat on the dining room table to dry overnight usually. So yeah, that's the best way to do them. If you have got any lubricant stains or anything else like that on them, if you get some Vanish spray that's designed for grease or some washing up liquid or something like that, you can put a dab of that on it, dab it with a cloth, and that will bring it all out, because mine see a lot of wear from the build streams and the amount of boards I build, so yeah, it's well worth doing that. Hit me up for pre-tool GMK. Yeah, send me some, man. Send me some. I like your Milo prawn. That's product. I do have some Dutch friends. I do try. I kind of knew you were from that area, so I kind of try. It's like I've got a friend who's called. It's spelled M-A-D-S, but it's I know it's pronounced closer to Mass than Mads. So I do try. And it's like Zui as well. So Zui and Harley. I do try and pronounce things right when I know people's names. If you want to get rid of that duck, my bank account is open. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. What lube would you actually recommend for Holy Pandas? 3203 through 204 or something else? Personally, I would always go for 205 grade 0, but a really, really thin layer, not too much, and then oil for the spring. But I tend to do that for most switches, and the only difference between how I lube linears and tactiles is I don't lube the legs on the stem. On a tactile, I will on a linear. How was the UK meetup? The UK meetup was absolutely fantastic. So it was a really good meetup. We had 75, 80 people there. David from my keyboard up here. Where is it? Where's the sign? It's there. It's somewhere up there. David from my keyboard came over. Sadly, he couldn't bring Yulia, but he came over, visited the meetup. It was a good time had by all. It was a really good day. I think we had King Nesty and a couple of people from the UK, and yeah, it was all really good. Sorry, for a couple of people from the EU, it was all really good. Ryan came over, who was behind GMK Minimal with Janglad. So yeah, lots and lots of fun times. Are you getting the new marshmallow switches soon? Personally, I'm having to buy them in the group buy. I've already bought a couple of hundred. I'll just get them whenever everyone else does, but Brian should have a stream up tomorrow, I think, where he's going to cover them. So see how that goes. Okay, I think we've just about caught up to date. Cyber Sam subscribed with Twitch Prime for 18 months. Cyber Sam, thank you very much, my dude. Thank you very much for that. We love all of our subscribers, all of our bit donators, all of our followers. Everyone, thank you very much for the support. But without further ado, it's time to show you the board that we're going to build today. As I said before, we're going to be using the new Smoky stabilizers from Everglide. So I'll just show you guys these up close. So as you can see, these are smoked in colour. They are screw-in. very similar in terms of look and design to the Zeal stabs. Some slight minute differences around how the clip-in works at the front, but also very similar to how the old EPBT stabs look like. The noticeable difference that Zeal stabs have, and these have as well over GMK, is that you've actually got a threaded insert rather than trusting the screws to cut their own thread in the plastic, which is a good thing. Okay, so that's what we're going to use for the stabilizers. Going to use some gold wires which came with these as well. So we'll lube those up. They don't need clipping either, which is also a good time saver. These are the wires, just standard gold wires. Of course, this has got split space, so we won't need the long space bar. We'll be using the 2U ones, but interested to get there as well. In terms of lube, we'll be lubing the stabs with 205 grade 0. I only find that dielectric grease works really well on GMK stabilizers. On anything that's got a clear plastic, I do think 205 works better, so that's what we'll be using for those. I'll put them to one side. Spare switch, don't need that. Okay, in terms of switches, as you can see, Straight Classy lubed these. His logo is just up there. Maybe I should leave that there for you guys to see. He lubed these switches. They are Telios. I believe they're 67 grams. Straight Classy or Noah, correct me if I'm wrong. Lubed with 205 grade 0 and GPL 105 on the spring. So there you go. Nice and easy. Forget that out of the light. There you go. 205 grade 0. And these do feel amazing as well. These feel so good. These are going to be really nice in the board. That's the switches we're going to use today. The next thing I'm going to do is show you the PCBs, guys. So these are the PCBs for the Doppelgänger. As you can see, these have been designed by Yankar in the UK. So Yankar is a very good friend of mine. He was actually at the UK meetup as well. He did my Hyper 7 PCB. He's done the HS60 PCB. He did the PCB for Novel Keys recent board as well, the 65% board. So he's really well renowned in the community. He does a lot of stuff for QMK. These are fully QMK compatible. The interesting thing as well is that they're actually USB-C connectors as well. So the USB from one side of the board to the other side uses USB-C, and then your connection to the computer uses USB-C as well. And as far as I understand it, you can actually connect either side to your computer. You don't have to connect one side or the other. Both sides will connect and work in that respect. So you can see here, this is how the two boards will connect to each other. Cable across there, and you can pick either this side or this side to connect to your computer. In terms of the back of the PCB, these are prototype PCBs, so they've both been jumped slightly. I'm sure that'll be rectified for any group buy version, but as you can see, nice, clean, black looking PCBs, all really rather neatly soldered. And I don't know how easy it is to see, but Yankar's soldering, man, this has clearly been hand soldered. How he's done that so neatly, if it focuses. Come on, camera. There we go. Really, really good. Well done. Cool. Okay, so that's the PCBs. Let's catch up with chat, and then we'll quickly show you the board, and then we'll get into the build. 205 grade 0 everything. Yeah, for Pacos, I actually like to use PTFE powder because I think it works better on POM housings. So PTFE powder, dry powder, works a bit better. Class was having issues with Everglides last night. They're having issues clipping, as far as I know, or he's a strong boy. As far as I know, these don't need clipping. Let me show you. If they do, I will apologise. Yeah, these don't need clipping. You don't clip these. So as you can see, there's no GMK style pins to clip on these. They just are as they are. There we go. Classy, all official. He is, yeah. Turn the sticker around, show us. There you go. Hi, Jay. That's all he said. I won't show you the other ones that are in the box. Turn the sticker around, shows you I've done that. So suggest 205 grade 0 for Holly Pandas, applied really thin, and also great for Zeal stabs. Is that correct? Yes, both correct. Yes. Clipping into the wire. Oh right, okay. So pushing them in. Oh right, I see what you mean. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Okay. Won't click in on some. Just loose. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll have a look and we'll see how that goes when we get down to the build. I didn't have any issues with that at all. I do think the plastic is slightly different composition to the Zeal one, which means it's a little bit more brittle. So we'll see how that goes when we're actually clipping the wires in. But in the build that I've done, I didn't have any issues. I find that it was easier to put them in like. Let me show you. Let me show you how I usually do it. So put it in like so into the insert, and then well, like that, and then bend it into place and clip it in. That's how I usually do it, so twist it into place. But we'll see how that goes when we actually get through to the build. Okay, so I think we've caught up. Your Everglide order is missing in action. Sorry, Fropsy, to hear that. I got the pink ones, the clear ones, and these grey stemmed ones, the smoky ones a couple of weeks ago, so yeah. Okay, so that's the board so far. So in terms of that, we've shown you the PCBs. You can see the design, how it goes together like so. That's where all your switches will lay. Of course, there's a slight gap between them because of the edges of the case. But what you're all here for is to see the board itself, not just the PCBs. So in terms of the board itself, here we are. We have one side and we have the other side. So there's a few interesting things to know about this. The first thing you can notice, it looks fantastic, right? How good does this look? This is silver anodization. I'll try and show you guys that it's silver. There you go, rather than white. The bright streamlights do make it look white. So let's talk about the layouts first of all. So in terms of the layouts, you'll have ANSI and ISO. You'll have the choice there. You have split backspace or full backspace, split left shift or full left shift, and then stepped or full caps lock. This is a semi-fixed plate, which means it's fixed to ANSI, ANSI layout, and it's also fixed to some things like full caps lock and a few other bits as well. Bottom row is also fixed on here, but I think there's a couple of options in terms of what that supports in the PCB, but I might be wrong when it actually comes to group by. In terms of the design as well, exploded 65%. Absolutely love this. You know, guys, and I do. You see it on the J01, you see it on the CA66. Having that separation out of the arrow keys, just having these blockers in place, and same for the macro column here. Really love to see that. In terms of the other side, macro column on the left, you guys know I love that as well. J01 again, I have a macro column just here. Probably one too many keys for me. I like to see 8, not 9 or 10. I see what the design's going for, and I can completely see why Noah's gone for this. That's just a personal thing. In terms of the actual board itself, a few more things to notice. So in terms of the brass weight, you can see that it does go halfway through the board. It has the same angle as what the plate sits at, and it goes across the back of the board. And that's the same on both sides, so you can see that the weight is quite chunky. It's also a seamless design, so as you can see here, the base is a base plate that screws in and the weight attaches to that. There's no seam on the side of the board. It is all completely seamless. It's all kept down to the bottom, and just 4 screws on each piece to hold that all together. One of the things that does happen on the prototype that won't happen in production, and this is a shame because it's one of the best features of the board, I think, in terms of conceptualization of different things. It's something that Noah and I talked about for a long time a while back, was how can you have the board get deeper the more it goes up? And what I mean by that is, as you go up the rows and you get closer to the top, wouldn't it be nice if the keycaps actually sat deeper into the board? So that's something that actually happens on this prototype, and I can show you that quite easily. So you can see here, guys, down at this bottom corner where the switch is in, this bit of metal here, it's, you know, standard depth for a standard board, and it would be exactly the same at the front as pretty much any other board is. But as you can see, as you move up here, it does get deeper and deeper and deeper, and the distance here is actually means that the keycaps are going to be more swallowed, and the side's going to come up further on the keycap. That isn't going to be on the production model. It is only going to be on this model. Apparently it's a pain to machine, so it's not going to be something that's going to happen, I'm afraid. And the reason for that is because you've got 2 flat planes at that point, so you need a 5-axis machine to do it, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. If anyone knows of a way around it, let me know, because I'd be interested to see how that goes. In terms of the rest of the case design, you can see that on the back, both of them have got 2 USB ports, USB-C ports, all nice and neatly milled. Looks really clean. You know, it's going to be quite a tight look and feel to that. And I must say that the prototype quality, I think I know which factory this has come from. It's really, really nice, smooth anodization. The brass looks great. It looks like it's been clear coated as well. So yeah, all really, really neat and tidy. In terms of the little bits here, these are going to be for LEDs, so these little accent pieces are going to be for LEDs. There's been a couple of people that have mentioned in the IC thread about how this one's centered across this key, however this one isn't centered across this key particularly, it's closer to this edge, but the 2 measurements across here are the same, however that one differs, and I think that's just due to the layout of the board. I'm not sure if Noah's going to revisit that, maybe make it a full width of the switch and a full width of the switch. That might make it look a little bit better, or change the design. That's entirely up to Noah. I'm going to catch up with chat now and see what you guys are talking about. I hope you guys are liking liking this board as much as I am. As you can see, it does clip together for a full 65% with macro columns, or you can split it apart and have it however you need to across your desk, wherever feels comfortable for you. Let's catch up with chat and see what you guys are talking about. Oh, lots has gone on. Okay, so on my sticker I wrote "Don't show it on stream." Yes, you did, Classy, you did. It's somewhere in Noah's box. I'm going to let Noah send it on to Noah. So what says Zeal stabs don't need clipping, do they? No, they don't. Absolutely not. Right, our GMK stabs that come with the NK65 aluminium edition are the best option for plate mount. It's either those or CoStar. You don't have any other choice, so I would say yes. Any ISO available? It says Jay Saint that says he subscribes for 4 months. Yes, this board will support ISO, so us ISO users are in for a treat. Yeah, so quite a lot of people like fixed ANSI but split left shift. So for those of you who don't know, this board was actually designed by West Foxtrot. Max is very well renowned in the community. He did the Profit. He helped me a lot on my designs, and he's given me countless hours of help, support, and feedback. He's such a genuinely lovely guy that I hope you'll wish him the best with any of his endeavours. So he did the Profit. He did the what else has he done? The ANSI. He did the Cypher. So all 3 of which boards I own and think are fantastic. He designed this as well. I think his favourite layout is ANSI Enter with split left shift. He likes that extra key for extra functionality, and it seems that that's come through on this plate as it's going to Noah as well. West Foxtrot's in chat as well. Max, I love you, man. It's good to see you, dude. It's good to see you. Okay, let's catch up with what else was talked about in chat. Left plate's the same, but right plates will be ISO or anti-plate. Yes, so the left plate is always like that. That's why it's got the split. Okay, that makes much more sense. Thank you very much. The weight is not... Yeah, the weight is fantastic. West Foxtrot saying the factory flat out refused to run it. I'm not surprised. It is a really nice feature, but I can see exactly why it'd be so expensive to do. But I'm really glad to see you in chat, Max. Really glad. Production will have separate ISO right-hand plate. Yes, excellent. What's the benefit of having the keycap sit lower as you go? It's just an aesthetic, stylistic piece of choice. That's it. It is actually centered at top clack. What did I say wasn't centered? Oh, the things. Oh, right, okay. Okay, so that's because there's less milled out. There's more milled out here from. Yeah, I get you completely. I think it just looks jarring because you see the extra piece on the side here and you don't see it there. There's more. If you drew the line up, there's more clearance there. I think that's what it is. I'm sure it's actually centered. Scrolling through. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. I think the IC said that the accents would be changed because they're currently based on the switch cutouts. Yeah, okay, cool. Reminds me of the VE8. Well, funny you should say that because I did get my VE8 out to compare it to, and there is some significant differences. First of all, I'm sure you can see that the VE8 does have an extra row anyway, and you can see it's quite a bit taller as well from that perspective. Macro column is the only similarity that I can see. The edges that are round on this, and the rounded so lovely as well. If I show you this machine mark, well, this machine and tooling here is absolutely lovely. It's flawless all the way across the board. Really nice to see on every curve and every angle. It's genuinely lovely, especially on these corners. Really, really nice work. The VEA is obviously really angled. The bezels are all completely different. It actually sits higher as the VEA as well, so this actually sits lower at the front. The VEA is also flat, it doesn't have any angle to it, whereas this board does. So I'm going to be honest, this is much more up my street than the VEA, even though the VEA was one of my endgame boards at one point. Okay. Non-split looks great, can it be glued? Probably if you really wanted to. Does that get rid of the typing angle then? No, it keeps the typing angle. So what you'll see here is that this angle of the plate is different to the angle of the base, which is flat. So that's flat. That's the angle of the plate there. That's the angle of the top piece. Those two angles are different, and that was why the keycap sat deeper. Colours, you'll have to ask Noah. I'm sure he's got a list. Hansi, yeah. Max knows his stuff. He does. Max is great. Typing angle remains. It's completely separate. Yeah, covered that. I think once built, it will look pretty different. Top clack. Okay, well, yeah, we'll get through that and we'll see what that looks like. You might be right. Once you've got keycaps in here, it might actually center those. I think it's just an eye thing. You're probably right. well, you are right, I know you are, that these are completely centered. I think it's just the fact that visually you can see more material on one side than you can on the other when it comes to this key, or when it comes to this accent. So yeah, I think it's just a visual thing, but you're right, keycaps may change that. I thought Noah designed this because I'm small brain. I think so. It's Noah's idea, and Max did the 3D CAD rendering, very similar to myself with the J1 and Tez doing the 3D stuff. Looks more premium than the VE8. We'll completely agree. It looks significantly more premium than the VE8. Blasphemous ANSI builds. Do you know I have no. Look, I've got another ANSI board here. Look, literally just another board that's ANSI right to hand. There you go. So, you know, I'm completely ambivalent when it comes to layouts. I just have my personal preference. So yeah, that's it. Just 1B. Just 1B. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think we're up to speed now. I think you guys are up to speed as well. The only other thing I haven't mentioned is this is top mount in terms of the plate design, but we'll see that as we take it apart. So without much further ado, let's get this board taken apart. We'll start off with the left-hand version, or the left-hand side, and take a look at that. And this is where I'm going to need to find some screwdriver bits that will actually fit. Hoping I have something that will open this up. Okay. Okay, this might be the first stumbling block. I need to find some screwdrivers that will actually work. Here we go. This should do the job. He says. Okay, perhaps not. Interesting. Okay, let's do what we can do. Let's do the bits we can see. Again, things we should test before we start the stream. What screwdriver is this? This is the Wukong, which is usually great for most things, but because these are so deep, I need something with a little bit more length to it. Sadly, for some reason, it doesn't seem to want to turn this particular screw here, unless that is turning and I just can't see it. Okay. Yeah, for some reason the screwdriver is just not clipping into those. Let's see if I've got anything else. Could be a very short stream, guys, if this doesn't work. Let's see if this set will get in there deeper. There we go. Okay, looks like that's gonna work. Okay, interesting. It will reach one side, it won't reach the other. Okay, the screws might need a little rethink. I had to dig out a screwdriver for them. Yeah, damn, week of scuffed TC streams. Yeah, hold on a second, I'm getting pop-ups galore here. Yeah, it's just one of those things that doesn't quite reach. And I don't think this one does either. Nope, okay, we'll get there, guys, we'll get there. I'm just trying to think if I have any other tools to hand that I can use. I must have one somewhere. Okay, I've got a long, thin flathead that might just work. I suspect when we actually do the when we actually put this board back together, I suspect we'll have to not put these screws in. Yeah, just not quite gripping. Okay. Such is life. So, note to self, buy some longer, thinner screwdrivers for this. Okay, so we've got one of them out. Let's just try and finish that and remove that screw. There we go. Yeah, I think the screws do need rethinking, but this is why you do prototypes, guys. Just to check stuff like this, make sure everything's working as intended. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. It's just too deep to get a standard bit-sized screwdriver in. There we go. Okay, so we're just on to one screw now. Slightly frustrating that it's just too deep to get hold of with that. I must have something here that will do this job. Okay. There we go. Only 3 screwdriver sets, guys, and then I find something that works. There we go. Okay. Right. Let's move all of these out of the way. Far too many bits of screwdrivers around now. Cool. Okay, great. So we've got one that works. Takes it all apart. And then there we go. So inside you can see a few things, guys. First thing I want to call out is that it's got this nice flat ledge at the front. I'm sure you guys can see that seam along there. That allows us to get it flatter and lower at the front edge. It's a really nice design feature. Brass weight screwed in 2 places. Seems pretty secure, pretty solid. Held in place by this because it slides down and through. Ridge on the inside, which gives you separation. All looks really nice and neat. Very nicely made, very nicely machined. Very, very impressive. In terms of the top piece, you can see here that it is top mount, as I said before. 6 screw points on there, all nice and evenly matched around the board. Okay, don't lose that screwdriver, holy grail. I have loads of sets of screwdrivers, and I tend to use the ones with interchangeable bits because then it means I don't have to change the whole tool. But it turns out on this particular occasion, this was the right thing to use. These were actually my father's, so these are actually probably 40 years old now. Okay. Talisman Solutions just gifted a tier 1 sub to Zampamon. Thank you very much, Zampamon. Thanks for watching, dude. It's good to see you, man. Feels like ages since we've chatted, dude. Nagid asked earlier on how many JO1s are being raffled. So there's going to be 2 JO1 raffles, both for charity, both for the hospice that looked after my mum in her final days earlier on this year. That's the Wheatfield Hospice in Leeds in the UK, run by a charity called Sue Ryder. And there's going to be 2 JO1s that are going to be raffled off for those. The first one is going to be raffled off on Novel Keys, and you'll be able to buy a ticket for $5. And that ticket will give you the opportunity to be put into the RNG for the raffle itself. There'll be unlimited amount of tickets available for that, so as many people want to go in for it as they can. You can all buy as many tickets as you like to try and win that particular JO1. And this launches on Thursday coming as well, so next week on Top Clack is when we're going to launch it. The other thing as well for that one is whatever we raise from the $5 donations, I'll match and donate exactly the same as well to the charities. Whatever we raise, I'm going to match it. The second board is going to be a JO1 as well. It's going to be available, and that's going to be raffled off to the highest bidders. This is going to run after the Novel Keys, well, not promotion, no, after the Novel Keys charity raffle. The highest bid board will be then raffled off separately. That's going to be a separately run thing, and that'll be done probably the first couple of weeks in January. So there'll be a 2-week window where people can submit bids. The highest bid at the end of those 2 weeks will then win the second JO1 board, and again, all proceeds will go to charity as well, the same charity. There we go. That's it. Talisman gifted another tier 1 sub to Soran202. Thank you very much. Only one of them will come with a JO1 Kippura as well, and our Bigfoot. I haven't decided which one that's going to go in yet, whether that's going to go into the high bid one, or whether it's going to go into the raffle one. I have yet to decide. It's probably going to go into the raffle one, I'll be honest, because the idea here is to make as much money as we can for the charity and support good things as well. Yeah, I haven't fully decided as well, Noah, but you're right. Noah was actually the guy who arranged the JO1 Kippurus. Thank you very much to him for that. There is a limit what I will match. It's in the 5 figures, but it's quite high. It's nearly in the 6 figures as to what I'll match, but I don't think we'll get that high. So there we go. Slipper Beat, will we J-scoring this board? Yes, we'll do that at the end of the stream. We'll try the J-score out and we'll see how we get on. Okay. So just in terms of the board then, guys, so you can see we have taken this out from that side. That's where the plate's going to sit, just like so. We'll now take apart the other side and do exactly the same again. Put the screws to one side so I make sure I don't lose them. So get out the long screwdriver again. I knew I'd have one eventually. It's just a matter of rooting around in the drawer long enough to find one. That's a lot of figures. I don't think we'll match 6 figures, yeah. Rupee's right, no. I think we'll end up somewhere in the really, really low 5 figures, but yeah. We'll see how we get on with that. I'm just noting that there's 2 different screw types for this board as well, so we'll go from there. Okay, so those are unscrewed. Drop those screws out. There we go. Okay, and we're just going to do exactly the same again. And as I said before, guys, you can see that the design features carry on. So you've got that same ledge at the bottom. Keep the front nice and low as possible. Max, you can probably tell me different, but that looks like it's 1 or maybe 1.5mm stick. That's nice and thin, but it looks really, really robust as well. So it's all looking good there. Again, just on the inside here, you can see still top mount. I wouldn't expect anything different across the 2 sides of the case, but we'll take these apart as well. 1.65, yeah, I was going to guess 1.5, but yeah, 1.65, I would not doubt you on. I wonder what the thinnest you could go is reliably. Probably a mil, I guess, would be the thinnest you could get reliably. 1.5 on the model that's been made. Nice. Yeah. I think Zondat, when he does his ledges, I think he does them around 1.5, 1, something like that. It's remarkably thin, but it just shows that aluminium is stronger than what people realise. Okay. There's no whining in keyboards. Do you mean whining or do you mean winning? Okay, so there we go. We've taken it out from there, and as you can see, that slits nicely on that particular side of the build too. Again, I'll just pop that back on its respective side. There we go. Just slots down nicely. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so from here, guys, what we're going to do is it's time to put the stabilizers together. So for this particular board, actually, Noah, if you're watching, you'd never said if you wanted full backspace or split backspace. So I'll let you advise me on that now, and I'll get some stabilizers ready for the other keys. And you also need to tell me if you want split or full left shift. I'm assuming full, so I'll do stabilizer for that. So we've got one stabilizer for there. We've got one stabilizer for the ANSI enter. We've also got one stabilizer for the space key on this side, and we've got another for the space key on this side. Split backspace, please. Full left shift. Okay, so that means that we need one for space just there. We need one for space just there. We need one for the left shift because he wants full left shift. Split backspace, so we only need one other stab, which is for the ANSI end. So we're going to do that. Split. Okay, that does mean we need to group these together. Okay. And again, I should have sorted this out before the stream. I did offer these yesterday, these stabilizers, so I should have sorted this out before the stream, but lack of preparation on my part. Okay. Oops. There we go. That gives us all the stabilizers we need for this particular build. Straight Classy says, I would never ask for the name or any details, but would it be appropriate to share what other board this manu has made? That's not for me to say. In fact, I actually don't. I can guess at the menu for this. I don't know. Noah's not told me. Max hasn't told me. I think I know which one it is, but that's for them to share if they would like to. It's not for me to say. What I can say is it's very high quality, very good in terms of its machine quality, very good in terms of its anodization quality as well. Okay. So now what we're going to do is just build these stabilizers together, and then once we've done that, we'll lube them with some Krytox 205 grade 0, and then from there we'll carry on. So if you guys don't know, stabilizers have 2 holes on one side and 1 hole on the other. The 2 holes go towards the front, and the front is the side where the wire clips into the stabilizer housing. So 2 holes towards the front. Okay, so the only thing Max has done with this menu is the profit. There we go. So that should tell you all you need to know, guys. So the profit was the red board I built a few months ago. Really, really happy with that board. Did I hear that that's coming back for a second round, Max? Did I hear that? Cypher is currently being made with them. Excellent. Okay, so known menu, high quality parts as well. Okay. I hope I got that the right way around. There we go. Almost together with these now. Making sure everything is clipped together nice and tidily. Okay. If you have, I see you have the school desk mat. Mine hasn't even been shipped yet. What the heck? I got this off of Dixie directly when he used to be a Top Clack sponsor. I think he sent me it around April time. I think this was the first one he had done in this colourway as a test. So yeah, I think it was just an early version of it. That's all. Okay. Okay, that's those all put together. I'm just going to put the screws to one side. We'll put those into the board shortly. The next thing we're going to do is lube these up, put some nice 205 grade 0 on these and try and get them sounding nice and nice. Harj says which stabilizer we're using. These are the Smoky Everglide stabs, Smoky Everglide stabs. Small private round of the profit, and then after that is another interest. We'll do another 4 round. Nice. Yes, I think I would probably like to get a wing keyless top for mine, I think, at some point. So if that happens, let me know, Max, because I'll be definitely interested in that as well. Dallas says, I will send you my skinny screwdriver set for $1,000 or whatever the coin of the realm is over there in the UK. Max saying we still use bread. Yeah, and I have 1,001 screwdriver sets. It's just that one's never failed me with keyboards before. Usually, I mean, if I got to the garage, I've probably got 24 different screwdriver sets that'll work for this. It's just a case of not checking beforehand when I should have done. Okay. He wants split left shift. Oh, did he say split left shift? I'm sure he said full left shift. Let me go back. Let me go back. Full left shift. Oh, actually, let's go split left shift max L. Okay, so he changed it after I read it. Okay, so split backspace. Noah changing the goalposts. Split backspace. ANSI enter. The 2 spacebar stabilizers, and then full split left shift. Okay, great. Okay, so we only need 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. Let's catch up with chat before I get onto the lubing. The only thing I've done with this menu is profit. Oh yeah, okay. I think we've got past that. I think we got past that as well. Split left shift. Has Jay turned over the straight classes again? Yes. There you go. Look, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He just says hi, Jay. That's it. It's absolutely fine, Mr. Petrov. Stop trying to find drama where it doesn't exist. So, as I say, guys, we're going to put 1 here. We're going to put 1 there, and then we're going to put 1 there in terms of stabilizers. But first of all, we're going to lube these. Now, the way I like to do it with 205 grade 0 is to lube one side of the insert, flip it over, do the other side of the insert, put some on the base, and then make sure it follows the wire up by pushing the brush down inside the wire. I do find it easier to do this whilst they're assembled, especially with 205 grade 0. You may have more luck doing them unassembled or disassembled. So just a nice thin layer on one side, a nice thin layer on the other side, a good layer on the base, make sure there's plenty on there, and then follow the stabilizer wire up into the housing, making sure you get a nice even coat all over the wire, and then down through the back, doing exactly the same as well. Don't need too much, don't need too little. As I say, your mileage may vary. You might like to do different things with the stabilizers. This is just the way I'd like to do it if I'm using clear plastic stabilizers. Just paint on a nice thin layer. It's always easier to add more if you need to, rather than to go with too much to start off with. But there's no right or wrong with this kind of stuff. It's all down to personal feel, personal preference. Noah, if you disagree and you don't like these, well, feel free to change them. Okay. That's one done. Move on to the next. Max posting links, pictures. I'm not sure what they're to. Go for it, dude. One of my best memories actually of this year is meeting up with Max for some beers in a pub. I'd gone through quite a few traumatic weeks, both with work, personal life, stuff like that. Max was kind enough to meet me for a few drinks in London town. Cheer me right up. Okay. Almost there now, guys. Just finish these off, and then we'll move on to building the rest of the board. And then towards the end, we'll do a typing test. We'll also do a J-score. Because this is a prototype, we'll probably do the J-score a little bit differently. Some parts of the J-score are based on the actual unboxing of a board and things like that. It's going to be very difficult to do that for a board that's a prototype. So I think we might have to agree collectively how we approach that. It may be that we just skip that section for this particular board and do an average of the other scores. But we can have a look at all of that live towards the end of the stream. Okay. Last stabilizer now. I like the fact that you're going to split left shift, Noah. I think you'll appreciate the fact that you'll have an extra key to use. Someone asked about profit. Clack. Oh yeah, you know, it's fine. You post the links as much as you want, dude. You post your links as much as you like. Max is definitely one of my favourite designers in the community right now. Okay. Almost there, guys. Just be a few more seconds on this particular stabilizer, and then we will be ready to put them in the board. Okay, there we go. Okay, so move the lube out of the way. There we go. See what chat's talking about here. I prefer my stabilizers rattly as sin. If you like that slippery Pete, then you go for it. HHKB Profit is really nice. I think I do want a wing keyless one. I think I like that. Comfort cuts, nice. That's a good term for them. Did my question get answered about the Twitch partner application? Sorry, I took my headphones off. So we applied for Twitch partner back in February, I think it was. and at the time we didn't get the partner position. Twitch wanted to see more continued growth from Top Clack as a whole, and we haven't applied since, so it's a kind of still up in the air position at the moment. It will likely happen at some point. We'll likely resubmit at some point, but I couldn't tell you when that is going to be. Okay, these are quite tight to get into the PCB, but that's the stabilizer, not the PCB, I think. There we go. Okay. There we go. So now we've done that, we're going to screw these into place. Which screwdriver should I use? I've got like 9 out now. I'll just carry on using the same one. I'm just going to gently screwdriver these in. Remember, when you're putting stabilizers in the board, your idea is not to screw the PCB into submission. You only want them so it holds nice and tightly. So you're only going finger tight. You don't want to go too tight and end up crushing the PCB. So just bear that in mind when you're screwing any stabilizers, guys. Emotes when Brian actually arranges them. So Brian is on with that at some point. It's not for me to answer, Soren, sadly. Yeah, so that's one of those things. We'll get Brian there at some point. He'll make them, I'm sure. The helmets make profit nice, even feel and sound. Yeah. I would say that they make the board more consistent. I don't know if you would agree, Max. John Warren says time for bed for him. 9 o'clock, early for you, dude. Early. Okay, so that's all those screwed together. So we're all now good to go from a key switch perspective. So we can lay the plates over the top. We can see how that's going to look. All looking rather good from that perspective. It's now time to put the rest of the switch, well, all of the switches in, and then go from the for the rest of the build from there. Got to make the PCB tap out. Yeah, you got to crush it. Yeah, absolutely. Feel nice and consistent and sound nice and consistent, and it absolutely does that. Profit is one of the nicest sounding boards I have. Yeah, it's well up there in terms of its sound profile. Okay, so we're gonna put these switches into the PCB and plate wherever we can align them. Just gonna make sure everything fits first and foremost. Going to prop everything up, and then we'll go from there in terms of positioning the switches. Okay, looking good there. I'm just going to pop one more in this top corner, one more in the bottom corner, and then we can go and just push all the switches in, and we should be okay. There we go. Everything should start to go together a little bit easier now. Vogon PT is here, saying hey Jay and hey chat. Hey man, good to see you, dude. We also need to decide on a key set for this. The choices are GMK Tarot or GMK Space Cadet. So if you guys want to vote in chat which key set we use, preference will go to Noah's decision. But those are the two I have to hand. I think I've also got well, I've got DMG, but that's not opened. Or we could do Deep Space. So those are the options I think at the minute. Potentially Royal Alpha. Minimal is over on the wall. That's not happening. It's that board just there. In fact, actually, I'm just going to zoom my camera, and I realise it's really far zoomed out. Let me just fix that. There you go. My pretty visage up a little bit closer there. There you go. Looks like we missed Pub Goku subscribing at tier 1. Thank you very much for that, dude. Appreciate that. Apologies for the delay on that. I missed that one. Okay, so what we're saying, Space Cadet would fit better, says Zambermon. Yeah, okay, that's a good choice. DMG, I'm not opening DMG, sorry, it's sealed. It's not getting opened. It's not for a board that's not mine, I'll be honest. DMG, Taro, make him open DMG. Royal Alpha, Royal Alpha, Royal Alpha, Royal Alpha. Okay, no, it's your call, dude. You tell me what you want. You go with chat and see what you want to do. You want me to hold this up to the mic for press? You probably can't hear anything. Very quiet, very nicely smooth switches. You'll get a better appreciation of the sound, Petrol, at the end when we actually do the typing test. Okay. The other thing as well is I can't actually program this board live on air today because Yankar has failed to send me the files prior to the show. So sadly I won't be able to do that on air, but I'll make sure it's programmed fully before I send it off to Noah later on this week. Okay, so we're going to go for split left shift. Now, a dealer's choice, you pick. Oh, I don't really want to open DMG. I will do if that's what everyone wants to see. I think I agree with Zambermon on this. I think Space Cadet probably going to fit this board a bit better, just because of the look. So smooth, here's nothing. Exactly, right? 0.8 noise. Pilot XJ's here as well. Good evening, good sir. Thank you very much for joining the stream. It's very, very nice to see you. Undercover Brother as well says we should get a poll. If someone wants to set up a straw poll, you can go for it. You've got plenty of time before I get around to putting keycaps on the board. Choices are Taro and Space Cadet or Royal Alpha. I think I can get Royal Alpha fairly easily. I can definitely get the white mods for Royal Alpha. Or actually we could do Oblivion, GMK Oblivion, that's the other choice. I have that to hand as well. That's actually right at the side of me, so that's easier than the others. So GMK Oblivion is there as well. DMG or Riot. You guys are busting me on this one. I haven't even taken a look at the key set since I got it. Oblivion, yeah, okay, I thought that might have changed a few people's views. I only have it to hand because I took it off the Matrix that we built last week. One side Oblivion, one side Taro. We could do two different sets. We could do two different sets. People putting things up there. The chalk alphas. The white mods I meant for the for Royal Alpha. It said split backspace as well, so we're going to go with that. Put these in now. Okay. One side Space, one side Oblivion, and see which match is better. That's not a bad shout. We could do that. Mix it up like split left shift. Mix it up. Okay. I think we're getting there. There's a couple of polls. I haven't looked at them. But there's a couple of polls up. Right, okay, that's which got bent pin. We'll come back to use that if we need to later on. Royal Alpha is sexy. I saw it on another streamer's build. It looks fantastic. It's one of my favourite sets of all time. Is Royal Alpha. I absolutely adore that set, especially with the white modifiers. It's pure filth with the white modifiers. Oblivion base one side. Hago Alpha's monochrome on the other. I don't have. So the only set I've got to hand is the Hagoromo, which is the white Alpha set. I don't have the grey set to hand. That's on another board at the minute. So it's either the white Oblivion set on one side, Taro, or GMK Space Cadet on the other. Those are the three that are really easiest for me to get because they are literally just off stream here. They're literally just like 6 inches off the camera just there. So those are the easiest ones to get. Pick from those three. I'm not opening DMG. Don't make me. Don't make me do it. Gradient set with all currently available. Go big or go home. Should I just get all my GMK sets, dip them into one tub, and then pick out the caps randomly? Is that what we want to see? I don't think that's happening either. Oblivion Alphas and Space Cadet are also similar. Yeah, they are. They are. If you get the grey ones, yeah. Look, if you DMJ is not winning, good. Yeah. Only open DMG if someone donates $100. If someone donates $100 to me and not to Top Clack, then yes, I will open DMG live on air. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, no. Sounds like my draw. Man, I don't know how you do it. Custom GMK Handaby. Only suitable for key set for that board is DMG. Oh, guys, what are you doing to me? How do you directly donate to me? You don't mean that. You don't mean that. J Big Flipper. No, the second round's running, dude. It's never going to get flipped. I just didn't want to open it until I had a board that was worthy of it, if I'm honest. And this isn't my board, so you know, if this was my board, it would absolutely be worthy of it, and I probably would agree with you. But it's not. This is a build for Noah. So, oh, classy look. One switch. First switch I've come to, not put back together properly. I don't know. What are you playing at, classy? What are you playing at? Might not be able to use that switch. No, the board's worthy. It's just not my board. It's just not my board. This isn't my... Guys, you are twisting my language now. So this board does not belong to me. Joe will get a final version, not a prototype. I will definitely buy a final version. Absolutely. This board is too nice to not buy one of. And when I do buy one, if I haven't opened DMG by then, I will absolutely put DMG on it at that point. Okay, almost there with the switches now, guys. Last one to go. Okay, bent pin on that one. Let me just grab a switch puller. A couple of bent pins actually. Let's just fix these. Okay. So once I've just fixed these two, we'll just check the rest of the board for bent pins. Oh, in fact, actually, that one wasn't bent. It's just been desoldered. There we go. So it's not a brand new switch, and I couldn't see because I saw silver. Okay, guys. So I'm now just going to go row by row, switch by switch, just making sure that we've got no bent pins, everything's seated correctly. We'll then check and make sure that the PCBs and plates are all seated nicely and neatly together, and that any gaps are as they should be. Okay, so I'm just looking around, you can see that everything's seated nicely in both the PCB and the plate from that perspective. Same across that angle, same across there, and same across the back as well, so that's all nice and neatly done. Now we're just going to check this one as well, make sure we've got no bent pins. All looking good so far. Yeah, all looking good. Okay, everything's pushed together nicely from that perspective. Or nearly, there we go. And checking from this angle as well, everything's nice and flush with the PCB and all the way around too. So there we go, guys, that's both of those sides put together. Two switches spare, we'll pop those to one side. Right, let's see where you guys got to from a key set perspective. The board is good enough, it's just not my board. There we go. I don't even like DMG, but this board needs it. You just want to see me open the set. Send it to me, thank you. Bent pins, switches not put together, shaking my head. Yeah, bent pins is the ill fault. Oh, that's harsh. I think a couple of the switches have been desoldered, that's all it was. The bent pin was probably mine. UK shipping hasn't sent me a Xeno yet. Oh, are you getting a Xeno from the UK? Interesting. Okay. I would blame it on shipping to the UK, yeah. Okay. One full keyboard, 2 winners, but I have to buy the other half to win. Nice, I like it. Right, that's the wrong straw poll. Okay, there's 2 straw polls. Let me get these up and have a look at them. Okay, so one says just DMG, so I'll have to vote DMG. The DMG gets 60%, DMG gets 40%, and DMG gets 0%. Okay, so thank you very much for that, Slippery Pete. Let's have a look at the other one. So I'm going to vote Oblivion. Oof. Okay, so Space Cadet, Oblivion, Royal Alpha, DMG, and Taro. So Royal Alpha and DMG are swapping. Oblivion's winning, so I think I'm going to go Oblivion. and maybe we'll do one half Space Cadet. So there we go. So votes are over. Oblivion is the way we're going to go it. There we go. It's still all flickering around. Okay, cool. That's the right one. The bare wire makes me a bit nervous after moving to heat shrink bridges. Interesting. Okay, cool. So that's it, guys. That's the switches all in the board. We're now going to solder these together. So I'm going to put them like that, and then we can just go side to side, row to row. Okay. So it's DMG unsettled. I don't worry about Jan soldering. No, these jumper wires are literally just because it's a prototype. That sort of thing happens with prototypes. Hell, I mean, the number of boards that I've had prototypes, or PCBs that I've had prototypes and seen prototypes for that need a little bit of extra jumping or anything. It's one of those things that just happens sometimes. You could deliver a bag of switches. We ring but no one was home. Translated. It was sort of but not quite a big bag, and I couldn't be hassled to deliver it. Better you go and get it. Yeah, but they had to deliver the note through the door to do that. Space Cadet left, Oblivion right. The man himself has spoken. So Space Cadet on the left, which will be this side, and Oblivion on the right, which will be this side. There we go. Bearing one is Oblivion with the white alphas. Okay. Get the solder ready. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is just put one switch soldered in each corner of each PCB. And then once we've done that, we'll then take a look at completing the rest of the soldering. Okay. The other interesting thing as well, guys, I did test this PCB earlier and it was working really well. I'm hoping I don't kill it. Okay. Almost there now, guys. I'll say just doing one switch in each corner first, and then we'll go through row by row and do the rest. Okay, I'm just going to move the solder to the side. There we go. Are there magnets in the middle part? There is no magnets in the middle part, Yui. Something like the split DCO1 from mech boards, that does have magnets in the middle to hold them together, but this one in particular doesn't. Okay, so we're just going to go through, solder this up nice and neatly, and then sadly I don't have any custom USB-C cables to USB-C cables, so you're going to have to see my iPhone or iPad charging cable to that is USB-C to USB-C to connect the two halves together, I'm afraid. So I haven't prepared any special cables, sadly, so that will slightly affect the look, but bear in mind that we can always get custom cables made for stuff like this. Should we just do one row at a time across the whole thing, I guess? Alternatively, I knocked once on the door and realised I was running behind schedule. Yeah, so I was actually at home a couple of weeks ago and I had a board delivered, and I say a couple of weeks ago, so actually a few months ago now, and the parcel force man didn't knock on the door. He just shoved a letter through the door saying no one was at home, your parcel's now being returned to the depot, you can go and collect it from here, or you can ring and call and arrange for redelivery. And I heard that come through the door, so I went and answered the door effectively, and he was just getting back in his van, and I said, oh, can you not give me the parcel? And they actually point blank refused to give me the parcel. Once they've scanned one of those little tickets, the thing has to go back to the depot at that point. So yeah, I got rather irate with him, and I didn't get my parcel. I had to go to the depot to pick it up, even though it was there in his van. It was 10 feet from my house, and I could, pretty much see it. It was a very strange situation. But once they've scanned those tickets, that's all they can do, which seems to be a rather strange policy. But hey, I don't run the company. Okay guys, making some good progress now. Probably about a fifth of the way through the soldering, something like that. I'm just going to finish this half off, I think. I would have been too. That's so frustrating. Yeah, I was very, very irate. I didn't want to let the guy leave. Yeah, I was probably more angry about that than I have been about a lot of things in my life. And yeah, it wasn't a pleasant situation all around. I do feel sorry for that because I shouldn't have been so angry. The guy didn't have a choice. He could only do what he could do. But it still poor behaviour from him in terms of not trying to deliver the parcel and just trying to get the easy way out by dropping a card in. Although it wouldn't have taken any extra effort to actually deliver the parcel, other than the fact that he'd have had to get it out of the van. USPS did later that with my SKB 60, so I walked to her open vehicle. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the vehicle was shut at this point, so I couldn't like go and route round for my parcel or anything, and I wouldn't have done that anyway. That would have been a little bit too extreme, I suspect. But I was very, very clear that I wasn't particularly happy about the situation, and the guy didn't have a good answer for me as to why he'd not given me the parcel. He just said he didn't think anyone was in, so therefore he left a car. And it's like there's 3 cars on the drive. Both me and my wife are here. My brother-in-law who lives with us here. You know, why would you have the impression that no one was in? So, and that did not go so well. This is where I'm having to be. There we go. Undoing Jan's jumping. There we go, but it's fixed. What was in the package? I can't remember which board it was now. I think it was back in the summer, early summer. It might have even been my profit actually. Oh no, I picked that up from Max in person, so it definitely wasn't that. Maybe it was a cipher. It might have been the cipher. Yeah, it might have been the cipher actually. Okay, almost done with one side of the board. There we go. So that side is now completed. We can now move on to the other side. DPD is the only courier that I haven't had a problem with. Yeah, I've not had a problem with DPD. I use them for a lot of my parcel deliveries now, especially when I'm sending stuff overseas that's larger than something like a plate. Okay. Starting to make some good progress here, guys. Over halfway done now. Try and get this finished as quickly as we possibly can, and then we can move into getting some keycaps on the board, doing a bit of a sound test, seeing what you guys think. I think we said Space Cadet on the left and Oblivion White Alphas on the right. I'm down to do that as well. So the challenge is I don't have the spacebar keys for either of those sets, so we're going to be using shift keys and whatever else we need to make it fit. But that's fine. We can do that. We can adapt. We can improvise, and we can overcome. What's the Doctor Disrespects thing? Speed, violence, momentum, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, almost there now. The other thing I noticed as well is it looks like you program both of these PCBs as individual halves, so it's not a single flash. It looks like they act as 2 independent boards in effect. So you could just have one side and use it as a large macro pad if you wanted to use a standard candy bar style keyboard. No one tell me if I'm wrong on that, because that might be something that I'm wrong about. Okay. With DHL, sometimes UPS too. I literally can't get to my door before start walking away. I have to run when I start hearing a knock, then yell at the guys who walks in my driveway. Man, that sucks. Yeah, I know the busy delivery guys these days, but that does suck. But of course, we all want cheaper and cheaper shipping, and that means that the delivery drivers are under more pressure to deliver faster. You know, it's a double-edged sword. You know, I think the other thing is if we started to pay a little bit more for our shipping, we might get a little bit more reliable services. Albeit that you know, we have to outlay more to do that. But I think I'd say, you know, I'd be happy to spend an extra $5 on shipping or £5 on shipping for everything if I knew it was going to get shipped a little bit more reliable, and especially when we're talking large purchases such as outrageously priced boards and things like that. Okay. Okay, almost done now, guys. Just the last few switches and then we're there. Then we can plug this in and give it a test. Then we can put the case back together, put some keycaps on and give it a sound test. So there we go. That is everything soldered. Take that apart, put that to one side. I think Yankai would have to clarify if each side needs its own QMK flash. The reason why I think it does is because each side's got its own controller and it's got its own reset button and everything else. Vido says he's interested in this board, especially with ISO support. Absolutely, love a bit of ISO support personally. You know, I'll build all my boards like that. Just need key sets to continue to support it and not leave it as a dying thing. But hey, that's just the position we're in at the minute. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is plug this all together and we'll give it a test out and make sure everything is working. So let me grab up switch hitter and then you guys can see as I'm typing. Where is it? So that should then show up for you. So that's switch hitter visible there. I'm just going to move it so I can see it. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is plug both halves of this together. So USB-C. Try and keep this cable at least somewhat tidy. And see USB-C. Just going to pin that down there. There we go. That's both halves connected together. I'm going to steal the USB-C cable for my macro pad. I'm just going to connect that into this side. There we go, guys. You can see that's all lit up. So you've got the nice LEDs in the corners lit up as well. Looking good. Let's test on the switch hitter. Let's just flick it over to the large ANSI layout and see what we've got. So F1, F2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all working. Escape. 1 doesn't work, so we'll come back to that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 0. Split backspace, so they both work as well. 3 columns there, up, down, left, right, all those keys are working. Tab, QWERTY, UIP, there we go, all looking good from that perspective. Caps lock works. You can tell I use split boards all the time. Shift. Okay, so we'll flick over onto the ISO one after we finish to make sure that key works. It may be that it's not programmed on this particular board, so if it's not, we'll come back to it. Okay, Control, Win, Alt, spacebar. I think that'll be FN. We'll trust that it works. Yeah, so that's going to be your FN key. If I do that, let me find something. Something must control something. Oh, there we go. So you can see that's definitely FM because that's changing colours on the LEDs. I'm hoping that's showing up on camera. I've blinded myself looking at the LEDs. There we go. So that's all working. We just need to look at the 1 key. So escape, 2 work, 1 doesn't. So let's take a look at that and see if we can fix that. Just going to try reflowing it and then we'll try it again. So sexy that position. I've got MT3 Serica on the way. Need a board to put it out. Yeah, nice. MT3 is a great profile. Is that enough? Yeah, okay. I'm just going to try reflowing the switch. See if that helps. If not, it may be a dead switch. Just going to try reflowing the diode as well. I think that's everything that I can reflow for that. Okay, let's give that a try. If that doesn't work now, I'll change the switch off stream. Yeah, it's still not working. I think that switch is dead rather than any soldering issue. So I'll fix that off stream, but there we go. The board is fully working apart from that one switch. Now it's time to pop everything into a case and go from there. Okay. Find the right screwdriver. Oops. Might be easier to start in this closer corner. Oh, okay. So the screw points on this are quite deeply embedded, so I'm just going to do this slightly differently. Put the screws in first. I'm noting that there's two different types of screw here for the case, so make sure we've got the flush ones for the base. There we go. Doesn't want to go together this way. Typical. Okay, we're going to have to do it the hard way and put the screws in the hard way. Okay. Just give it one more attempt like this. If I try and go vertically down. Okay, there we go. That's worked. There we go. I'm just going to screw all the screws in part way first. Just make sure we're not going to lose any of the screws. And then once they're all going, I'll then go back around and tighten them up. Teleo V2s, yes, they feel really nice and smooth. Really nice switches. I'm not sure I think they're worth the price, but if you're doing a premium build, they're probably the nicest linear out of the box on the market right now. Slot the base in. There we go. Two flush screws at the front. Again, there's no seams to align on this one, so no need to go the whole hog and do diametrically opposed screwing or anything like that. I feel like there's a screw missing, but we'll come back to that. Okay. That's one side of the board now completed. Now on to the next. Taliban Solution comes out with the preferred tightening order. There we go, yeah. I thought only inks had loose leaves. From what I understand, it's actually pretty much any Gateron right now can have a loose leaf. I've only experienced it on some of these Teleos, which Classy's lubed. Other than that, I haven't seen it on any switches personally, but I haven't bought any new switches for a long time. I've been going through old stocks, but as far as I understand it, it can be on any Gateron that's been produced recently at the moment. There we go. Again, just going to make sure that the screws are into the threads, then we'll go around and tighten it all up. Test the one before screwing in. Yeah, I retested the one. It's definitely a switch issue. I've reflowed everything I couldn't flow 10 strong, so it's definitely a switch. I'll replace it off stream because I'm just conscious of time. We've been going for an hour and a half now. I don't want to be streaming too long, so I'll fix that off stream for Noah before I ship it out. Trying to align this. It's not quite sitting together. There we go. That's in position now. Again, no seams to really align, but I am going to just hold that one in place while I just screw the opposite side in. There we go. Humans love their rituals. We do indeed. I've got some red inks and some regular yellows and reds. I'll check that they have it. I do have some red inks actually, but I've not actually taken them out of the packet or anything or used them. I've got a full bag of 70 or so, something like that. I've just not actually used them yet. Okay, there we go, guys. That's the board all screwed back together. I think you'll agree that that looks pretty damn smart. Let's get rid of switch hitter. We don't need to be able to see that anymore. There we go. All now gone. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so conscious that we've taken a little while to do that. First thing I'm going to do then, guys, is get some keycaps out for you. Let me just make some space. And we said we were going to put GMK Oblivion on the right hand side, so let's do that now. DMG time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see how it is. Oh, and this is where I can't remember where everything splits. So tab QWERTY. Okay, so that's Y. Okay. Okay. There we go. We've got split backspace. Yeah, let's. What we're going to go for. In fact, I think the other keys are under here. I think there is the right keys for split backspace in here. We've got delete. And we'll just pop that up there for now and go for that. Okay. Stabilizer sounds nice. Vertically, what are we doing vertically? J, wrong delete key. It's the R1 key. Is it in the wrong spot? I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. We only need it for testing. This isn't how the board's going to stay. Remember, it's all going to change. The keycaps could come off. So this is GMK Oblivion with the Hargoramo white alpha keys. And we're going to put Space Cadet on the other side. Is it 1.5? One. Just one U there. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to have to use a shift key for here. We'll flip it because we don't have split space bars, but there we go. We can see it there. Get some arrow keys in here. And then we'll just put some feature keys on this side. Again, it doesn't really matter what we use. Whoops. I say, this isn't my board, so these keycaps aren't going to stay on it. There we go. Page up as well. Okay, so that's the first half of the board done. I think you'll agree that looks pretty good. The logos are 14 by 14, same size as switch cutouts and in line with the column and row. Yeah, I think it'll look much better when we've got keycaps on, as you suggested earlier on, Max. I think that's really going to help it. Okay, and then we'll put Space Cadet on the other side. I can just about get hold of this set. Showing off all the Oblotsky kits today. Yeah, and that reminds me actually, UB, I need to send you a key from that pack, so I will remember to do that. Multiple keys there, okay. 10 strong, if you put the two sides together then wobble it vertically, is there any play between the two sides? Well, I mean, the board does give a little bit, but not much. I mean, like there, you can't pull it apart anymore. I feel like I'd bend the aluminium if I was going to try and pressure it apart anymore. There is a little bit of movement, but like if I push it that way and try and move it, there's no movement whatsoever. It's only when I try and move it from the ends, and that's giving it some lateral movement as well as vertical. But in just terms of vertical movement, whilst I'm pushing together, there is nothing there that I can discern. If there is, it's minute. I do wish we had a better solution than GMK trays. Not my favourite. Okay, so let's carry on popping the rest of this board together. I think this is the first time this keycap set's been used on a board, I think. I don't remember using it before. Jay, you might have a DM waiting for you. I might have a DM waiting for me. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I've got 13, 14, 15. I've got 15, 16 DMs waiting for me. So thank you very much, One Creative Mind. I'll take a look at it after the show. 2 tildes. Yeah, alright, guys. It's because I'm not really paying attention to what keycaps I'm putting on here. It doesn't matter. You can build it however you like. You can build it however you like. You don't have to follow this particular layout. If you would like, I can even probably find an artisan to put on here instead. Okay. Oh, no, I don't need any more of those. I've got split left shift, which does mean I'm going to need the UK kit in a second. Just the one B key on this, guys, not 2 B keys like a lot of the Alice clones you see. Where's the short shift? There it is. And we've got Control and Alt, and I think I've got one U super key. There it is. There's the additional key for there. I think we want that shift in there, and then we've just got enough for another 1U key. I think there's a 1U FN key in this set somewhere. Let's go with the meta key for that. There we go. So there we go, guys. That is the board laid out. Silver goes with everything. That's the great thing about silver boards. It absolutely go with everything. You can ignore the fact that I've got 2 tildes. You know, it's fine. Tildes. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't make any difference to the functionality of the board. Max, I think you were absolutely right when you said that these actually blended more into the board once you put keycaps on. It definitely looks much more centered. You can see that there's the right amount of space on either side of the keycap. As I say, the fact that there's less material on this edge compared to all of this here is what throws your eye off when the board is unsoldered. But I think like this, I think you'll all agree, guys, that actually looks a lot neater, and it kind of looks like it blends in a lot better. I think so anyway. Mad tolerance is there, you really can't move that. It is really nice, but as I say, you can move it around, you can split it, you can do whatever's best for you, move it all over the place, have your nice little cable connecting it. Looks pretty damn good. Let's see what you're saying in chat. Space Cadet looking real nice here. Space Cadet looks better on this board than Oblivion does, is my quick hot take. Fade board in a while, it looks great. Looks absolutely fantastic. Can you plug it in for the RGB? I can. Where did I put those cables? I'll also get the scales ready so we can weigh it shortly. So bear in mind, guys, that this is not the cable that will most people use it. It's just the only USB-C to USB-C cable I had lying around, and that cable doesn't quite reach as far as I was hoping it would. So there we go, guys. I think my personal view on these is that you probably want to do something a little bit different with them. How was I controlling those lights before? Oh, it was this one. There you go, something like that. That's a bit more of a white, make it purple. I think maybe like some rubber inserts on the underside of that or something like that to just diffuse the light a bit better would be something useful. Did I solder it already? Yeah, it's all fully soldered, it's already working, and the only one key that doesn't work is the one key, but that's the switch issue. Is this the man in the High Castle set? No, it's not. Space Cadet looking great here. Yeah, I think Space Cadet looks better on this than anything else. Pure Sex says Pusher. I think this is quite possibly one of the nicest boards in terms of look-wise I've had on the show in a long time. So yeah. Max says is one logo smaller. No, the logos are exactly the same size. It just looks like it's off because of the fact that they're both centered across these columns, but because you've got metal all the way around this one, it looks like that corner and that corner are further apart than this corner and that square corner there, because if it was going to come round and down the side of these keycaps and follow that shape, it would have to cover up here as well. So there's just less material between the edge of the shape here and the edge of the metal than there is across there in line with here. That's all it is. But in terms of both of them, they're both centered, they're both the same size. It's just a little trick of the visual perspective. Gorgeous board, but gap at the top looks bigger than the one at the bottom when they're together. Nope, you could probably fit a piece of paper through each one, pretty much as close together as they can get. It's actually the brass weight that's holding them apart. The brass weight is slightly off. You can, yeah, the brass weight on this side is just slightly raised out from the front, and just slightly raised out from the front on that side as well. So I think it's something that could possibly be adjusted to get closer tolerance if I took the weights out. Should have gone for DMG. Yeah, fair enough. Needs diffusion of some sort. I think they do need diffusion of some sort. I don't have anything to hand that could act as a diffuser to give you guys an example of what that might look like. No, I don't. Otherwise, I would have put something over it to show you. But yeah, I think a little bit of diffuser would look good. There will likely be a diffuser. Yeah, nice. Put it together. It looks really cool. I'm really, really happy with this already. More premium than the VEA. So yeah, so I do actually have the VEA to hand. Here we go. This is where you can see the VEA, which is quite possibly one of my favourite boards of all time, just because of the layout and aesthetic. You can see, Harge, that the gap is bigger significantly on this board than it is this one, and this is quite possibly considered as the epitome of split boards today in terms of the customs and value and stuff like that. There's actually a lot more movement in that than there is in this. There's no movement in that, but there is in this. Sure you guys can hear that clicking as I move it. I think the design of this is much nicer. I don't think you can even compare it to this board. I think they're worlds apart. This is a much nicer layout. The exploded section here, the fact that it's not 75%, it looks neater and tidier. The fact that it doesn't have an F row and it doesn't have the you know, this kind of extra row. Especially the fact that these are in parallel rather than being staggered. So for me, there's no contest. The Doppelgänger is a better board than the VE8 in terms of looks. Helipog, yeah, it's great. I will try and do a typing test on this, but well, I'm going to unplug it to do that because I don't want to cancel the stream or anything by hitting the wrong key combination. But yeah, I did. Let's see what it sounds like. Let's move on to that. I do need to mute my TV. There we go. It's only me, or is the space keys look weird? I'm not sure what you mean about the space keys. The fact I'm using shifts is probably the issue. I don't have any split spacebar kits on key sets that are available right at the minute. The weight actually needs a little work. Okay, yeah, it's not going to show up on stream, but it is just sticking out slightly further than I don't know if you guys can see that little bit where it's just sticking out further, and that's what's causing the gap between the two. It's just this way a little bit more than the top is. It's really difficult to show it. I don't know if that's going to show it any better. I'm sure you guys can see it, or you appreciate what I mean. But the rest of the weight looks fine. I'm not sure if there's going to be a design on the weight at some point or anything else, but it does look really rather good. There were some issues with the weight. Okay, yeah, I think it may look more symmetrical with just one logo on the right and a full column. One logo on the right and a full column on the right. I'm not sure, Rob, what you mean. I think what you're trying to say is if you had another key there and you just had the logo up here, or alternatively you have another key here and just the logo up there. Potentially, it's entirely up to Noah. He's the designer of the board, so I would leave it up to him. Type the angry email. Yeah, I'm going to get onto that. Is a 1.25 thumb key bottom row option on the left hand? I'd have to check on the interest check 10 strong. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I can't recall. LD Ra says ISO support. Yes, the PCB does support ISO, and the plates will do in the group buy as well, so you'll be able to have multiple choices for the plate for this side, and the plate for this side is stock and offers either full or split left shift. Okay, puppy sitting so on this side. There you go. Yeah, cool. As of right now, the bottom row is fixed. Oh, right, okay, there we go. So the bottom row is fixed. It's the only one that you can have. Okay, so let's see what this board sounds like. I'll do a little bit of typing with them separated, or I'll try. My separate typing is not always ideal, and then we'll try put it together and see if it sounds any different once it's together. So let's take a listen and see what happens. That's those Everglide stabilizers. Feel quite nice. Slight bit of rattle in that one. We'll fix that after the stream. No rattle there. That looks all good. Okay. Okay, looks good. Okay, I'm going to try typing now. I'm really nervous for this. Yeah, let's see how this goes. That feels so weird. I'm gonna have to put it together, guys. Right, let's do it together, and then we'll try and do it apart. Okay, so the whole thing, press G with your right hand. I think I did, because I'm not used to typing on a split board, so I don't type perfectly. I type terribly, and the two key sets is really throwing my brain off. And even trying to do it the split spacebar, it's really throwing me off trying to do it, and especially with the pressure of you guys watching, 135 people watching and stuff like that. It's really difficult for me to type like this. But yeah, got to learn 10-finger touch typing. Absolutely, yeah. A lot of hand movement. Yeah, I don't have the best typing anyway, but I'm really struggling with the mental fact that both halves look different. Let me try again. Let me try again. There we go. There we go. That was better, yeah. Why use non? So I don't have proper typing technique. I know, guys. So you guys are coming into this and you're seeing me type. So the press B and G with right hand. Yeah. I know I don't have proper typing technique. So the way I learned to type, and bear in mind that I'm in my mid-30s now, was I actually learned to type on my first job. I didn't use a keyboard and mouse before my first job, really, 15-20 years ago when I came out of college, and. The reason why I type like that is because I use forefinger for space, which you guys will have noticed immediately, because I used to use an old ThinkPad, and that used to mean I had a thumb on the trackpad, a thumb for the mouse keys, and my fingers did all of the typing, which means that I've learned a really weird typing technique. It's too late for me to change. I spent 3 months at the beginning of 2019 trying to teach myself how to type a better way. Doesn't work. So my typing doesn't matter. It's like saying that someone who watches snooker can't commentate on how good the game's going because they don't play. Just because they can't play well doesn't mean to say they can't understand how the sport works. It's the same thing. So there we go. Yeah, there we go. Looks like your home row on the right hand is a space bar. It is, yeah. My home row for my fingers, because I'm so used to typing like this. That's why. You can type on an iris and learn best typing. I don't need to learn best typing. My typing works for me, and that's fine. So. What watches do you normally wear? I can see the tan lines. Day to day I wear an Apple Watch for most of the time. Depending on what I'm wearing on an evening, I'll either wear my Amiga or a Tudor, depending on what I'm doing. I also have some fun watches as well, such as the first ever railroad qualified watch, which uses a tuning fork mechanism, which I really like too. So I have lots of watches. Makes sense. It's entertaining to see me type. Yeah. I also learned by typing for 20 years. So yeah, I've got my own way of doing it. It works for me. Normally when I'm not under pressure, I type about 60 words a minute. It's all I need. It doesn't stop me enjoying keyboards. Doesn't mean I can't have a valid opinion on them just because I type differently. Trying to type with two key sets like this is really off-putting. That's more than the visual thing than anything. Because even if I'm not looking at the keyboard, I can see it on my screen in front of me. And it is really hard to do it. So yeah, there we go. So that's where it is. So I think this sounds fantastic, guys. I hope you'll agree. I don't know what it is that Max does with his designs. So this is a little bit thuddier. It could be just due to the key size and the fact that this one rattles slightly. It just needs a tiny bit more lube on this side. But I think it sounds fantastic. Show it split, yeah. Yeah, I don't need to justify it, Cohen, but others seem to want me to justify it. So there we go. So there we go. Yeah, I can weigh it. That's what the scales are here for. So let me turn these on. Let me weigh each half individually first. In fact, let me... Come on. So in grams... one side weighs 1,094 grams, so 1.01 kilograms. That's 2 pounds and 6 ounces on that side. Let's weigh the other side. 2 pounds and 4 ounces on that side. And it's 1,037 grams. So in total, that gives us 2.15 kilograms, or 4 pounds 12 ounces. So there you go, guys. 4 pounds 12 ounces in total. There we go. Okay, so now we've done the build, guys. The last thing we need to do is do the J-score for this particular board. There's a couple of things that we can and can't do from the J-score because this is a prototype, so we'll try and do it to the best of our ability. Let me just get up the J-score screen, and then I will share that with you. J's keyboard scores, there it is. Okay, let me just see if I can capture that and turn it on. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the J keyboard score here. I will trim this down slightly. Let me just see if I can make it a little bit smaller. I'll try and find a better way of showing this on stream as well for next week as well, so you guys can see the board just there. Okay, so in terms of the board, it is the Doppelgänger. I'll change the spelling of that, but I'm going to call this the prototype and put prototype in there as well. In terms of the key switches, we've got Telios, V2. The plate is aluminium. Price, just going to put blank until we know more. And then we need to do the J score and the community score. Oh. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is because we this is you know, a new board, we can't do any packaging scores, so I'm going to say that that's a not applicable score, and I'll remove that from the weighting at the end, just because it would be unfair for us to do it any other way for this particular board. We don't know how it's going to come packaged. It would be absolutely unfair as to be able to do that. Oh yeah, do you want to see the top row profile? Okay, so the other thing as well that I wanted to mention, guys, is as you can see, that's the standard profile of GMK caps. I'm just going to come back to the J score in a second. You can see that's the standard profile of GMK caps across all of the correct rows, and you can see that that follows the line of the plate nice and evenly. Now if we turn it over and look at the other side, you can actually see that the caps get deeper seated into the case the higher up you go, and that is completely not what you normally see on a GMK set on a standardized keyboard. So if you look at this difference here, guys, you can see that on this particular board the keycaps all sit roughly the same height above the case. You can see that the case is angled in that way. You can see on this one that the keycaps actually do seat lower into the case and are much more cusped by the case itself. So there you go. I do think it looks really rather nice. It is one of the nicest features of the board, but sadly it's not something that's easy to machine from that perspective. We get some row typing comparison between the two sides. I realise I've slacked on clips and want to fix that. Sure, let's do that really quickly. Okay, so let's do that. There you go. So I'll let you go clip those. Okay, that happens on the AKB 652, but due to a curve rather than a smooth gradient. Nice. GMK Metropolis is one of my favourite sets. It's really nice. It does so it alters the intended profile of GMK. It does alter the intended profile of GMK. The profile is still the same. The problem is you're looking at it from that side, and those are all row 1 caps. So you can see here that that's the correct profile, but you can see here that they are seated further and further into the board. So bear in mind that you should be looking at this row here, but it's very hard to show you that row because the row 1 caps are in the way. So these are row 1 caps. Just bear that in mind. It won't be a feature of the board. Yeah, it is 100% visual. Foxtrot is absolutely correct. Okay, so let's get back to the J score. So I hope you guys agree that we can't put a packaging score on this one. It wouldn't be fair to do so. I will discount that from there as well. The other thing I would like to say as well is the ease of building. Whilst it was easy here and things like that, there's going to be additional parts to the board to come, such as there's going to be indentation. There's going to be diffusers for the LEDs and things like that. So my view is for this particular board, what we do is we just don't do a build score at all, and what we do is we look at the home score, the work score, and then come to the overall scores and just ignore the build score and take the averages of the other two. I hope you guys think that's fair enough for this particular board, and that's you know, well, that's the decision. That's how we're going to go with it. So in terms of value, I think the proposed price point for this one is around $400. People are saying that seems fair. Okay, great. So this is going to be proposed around $400. Let's judge it on that basis at $400. If this is a $400 board, guys, you guys put into chat now what score out of 10 you think you'd like to give it. Higher score is better, so if you think that's a good score, then give it a high score, so 7s, 8s, 9s. If you think that's bad value, give it 1, 2, 3. If you tell me what you guys think for the community score, start putting them in chat now, and I will give my own score in a second. I mean, when I consider that this is a prototype, if I paid $400 for this prototype and this is how it came to me, I'd be pretty happy with that, bearing in mind that the finished product is going to be nicer. It's going to have the weight fix, it's going to have a few design affectations changed, it's going to have some diffusers for the LEDs. I think that's going to be really high. I think value for me on this one is going to be a 9. Let's take a look at chat. You've got 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we've got Satanicus with a 9, Undercover Brother with an 8, Manti with a 7, so we're an 8 overall. I'm Couch with an 8, 7.5. I think we're still around an 8. Talisman says 8. LD Ras says 9. Yeah, so we're in the high 8s. Pusher says 6. $400, I'd say a solid 8, at the very least a 7. Okay, 8s, 9, 120. Okay, 8.5, 10, 7, 6, 9. Okay, move the score up and the board lower. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I can just probably trim this. Oops, wrong button. Hold on, let me crop this. Add crop. Done. Bottom 200. Let me change that to 250. There we go. Gives you a little bit more space. There you go. Okay, so 9. I think you guys came out with probably something similar to that. I think you guys were probably closer to an 8.5 overall. So I think we'll put 8.5 down for the community from that perspective. I think that's fair. Style, right? Okay, guys. So anything after the 9:59 timestamp, I'm going to count for the style vote. Again, vote out of 10. 10 means it's stylish as hell, and you couldn't imagine not having this board in your life. Lower scores 1 means it's unstylish. It looks like it's a black paper bag that you're wearing, something like that. So yeah, show the bottom. Yeah, I can show the bottom. Here we go. This is the base of the keyboard, guys. I don't know if the design is if the weight's gonna have any design on it or not. It's just a nice lump of brass at the minute, which is really nice and smooth. Seamless design. Just a reminder, guys, there's no seams on the side. All the seams are underneath. There's no seams visible on the side profile. I'm gonna give this. In terms of style, I really like it. The only thing that I dislike personally is these. I don't like the layout of these. I don't like the dangling lines. I think a logo might be something that's better to put in one corner. Probably agree with Rob's comment earlier on, so I'm probably going to give this a 7.5 because the rest of the board is outstanding. The split, so the exploded 65% version of the board, I really like. I like the macro keys, everything else. So I'm going to go 7.5. So we're going from the on the hour timestamp. So 8, 9, 9, 8, 7.5, 9, 10. 9, 9, 8.5, 8, 8.5, 8, 6, 8, 9.5, 7.5 with both logos. 8. Okay, stop posting now, guys. Enough on this one. 10 with one of those LED things. Okay, so I think you guys are really high on this. I think this is close to a 9 from what you guys are saying there. Yeah, okay, so I think 9 is the most common score, probably average as well. In terms of quality, this one's dead easy, guys. So 2201 is a timestamp I'm looking for after Pusher's comment. Would have been a 10 with a nice weight design, and like you said, the 2 windows LED would be nice with just one. Yeah, so we might have to revise this when we build the final version of it. We might give it a different J score. So in terms of quality, give your scores, guys. I'm going to be honest, the quality of this is a 10. There's no other choice for me. Everything is machined great. The actual quality of the finish is fantastic. I suspect I know where this was made because the quality is unbelievable. Just the anodization, the smoothness of it, the way these edges are all milled. Some slight issues with the weight, but as Max was saying, I think that's the design rather than the actual milling of it. Tolerances are fantastic. I think it's a 10. Okay, so you guys have voted in droves on this one, averaging probably a 9. Looking at that, there's a couple of 8.5s, 10. Okay, 9.324, nice, great score, 10. I think you guys are probably edging close to a 9.5 on that one, so let's go with that. Okay, pause there, guys. No more scores for this one. We're going to move on to the typing sound scores. You guys can vote for that. So we're looking for anything after functionals, 10 for the previous round. Any scores that go up after that will be counted towards a typing sound. I've got to be honest, this sounds fantastic. This sounds even better than the Matrix of last week, and that was a really high score. I think I'm going to give this a 9.5 personally, and then we'll give you guys another minute to decide what you're going to come up with. I think the sound is definitely helped by these switches, though. These feel fantastic, classy. Well done, dude. Okay, so we're going after functional. So we've got a 10, a 10, a 9, a 9.5. Big high scores here. An 8, a 9. Pusher with a 7. Pusher's so low with a 7. Okay, interesting. Doctor Constable with a 10 as well. Sounds pretty good. Unrestrained would be maybe the bottom row. Okay, I can get that. Too high pitched. Okay, that's fine. Try PBT caps. Yeah, PBT caps might change the sound. I'm only judging it based on this. All my tests will be done with GMK just to keep it even. Okay, we'll stop the scores on that one. I think you guys are giving it very close to the score I get as well, so we'll put a 9.5 in there for you guys as well. Typing feel, you guys are going to have to take my my word on this one. As we said last week, typing feel will always be dictated by what I can feel, because you guys can't feel it on the stream. In terms of the typing feel, for me it's a little bit off with it being a split board. When it's together and with all of the keycaps together and I'm thinking it through, it feels pretty nice. It's quite firm in terms of typing feel, so I like that. I'm going to give this a nice 8 in terms of typing feel for me. You guys may or may not agree when it actually comes around to it. If tactile 0 XD, well, luckily I can appreciate both tactiles and linears, so I'm always good on that perspective. Okay, now we've got an interesting one, guys. Innovation. Do you see any innovation here in the board, guys? So anything after the 10:05 timestamp, this is going to be counted towards innovation. So by innovation, we mean, is there anything new, anything functional that we've seen on the board that we've not seen before? All of that kind of stuff. And bearing in mind that we're seeing this particular board, this is the prototype we're doing, not the production version, which means it does have this really nice deep dishing of the keycaps up towards the top of the profile, and nestling the keycaps in there, which I haven't seen on a board before. So yeah, you guys go for that. I'm going to give this a solid 8.5. I think it's a really, really nice and a great layout. 9, 9, 9, 9, 8, 9, 10, 7, 9, 7.5, 4 improved tolerances, but that's about it. 10 strong, very, 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 very. For that hover, if I can, I'll raise it to a 5. Okay, 4 to a 5, 9, 9, 9, 8 because of the super high pro. Yeah, the high pro is so nice on it. USB connectors in the middle too. Yeah. USB connectors look really good. All USB-C as well, much better than say the VEA using SATA for the 2 connections. We give the Matrix to a damn 2.5 LOL. 6, yeah, okay. So I think you guys were giving it a higher score than me. I think the average on the innovation was a 9. Community interesting. Split aspect is fairly innovative. I think it's the first time we've seen a split keyboard with macro keys and an exploded 65%. I do not remember seeing that on a split keyboard before. I think that's very unique in terms of that perspective. Okay, and it also doesn't do the split thing with the other B as well. That's innovation right there. Not putting the extra B on this side, right? That's got to be innovation. Agree or disagree? Tell me in the comments below. Okay. Right then, so the next thing, guys, is cool factor. At home, how cool would you feel having this board on your desk? How cool do you think this board is? 10, 9, 1,000, or is that a million? I can't tell. Chat's growing too fast. 10. Personally, I think it's a 10. I think it's cool as hell. So I'm going to put that down while you guys carry on voting. 10, 9.5, 8.5, 9, 9, 10. Actually keen to try split for the first time. I really want to keep this for a week and try and teach myself how to use split again. I did actually learn quite a lot when I first got the VEA, but I probably haven't used that in a year, so that's just been sat there not getting used. If anyone wants a VEA, it might be for sale. Just give it a goddamn 10. I think you guys aren't giving it a perfect 10 because not everyone's agreeing. There's some 9s in there, there's an 8.5 in there. I think you guys are probably going to be erring closer to 9.5, and I am in process of getting a bot to do this kind of score thing as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to jump onto then is the work score, guys. So practicality. How practical is this keyboard? If you were going to use it in work, is it practical for you to carry around with? Is it practical for you to take to the office? Is it something that's practical for you to have on your desk? Is it going to help you in any way, shape or form? Is it going to help your movement or anything like that? Is it going to help be more ergonomic? All of those kind of stuff. 10:08 onwards is a timestamp we're looking for this one. 7, 8.5, 7, 8, 8, 7, 4, any numpad available, too many cables. Okay, yeah, but you could have a nice little connector cable. You could tidy it up and do it nice. 7, 7. I've got to be honest, I think for me the practicality of this one is it's going to be quite difficult to carry daily because it's 2 parts. Thinking about it logically, but once it's there on my desk at work, it's probably going to be okay. It's actually probably going to be a lot more functional at work as well in terms of practicality, because if I did learn how to use splits, I could do this, have my mouse in the middle, you know, and I could feel that that could be quite productive for me. Yeah, so I think that's going to be quite productive and practical. So I'm going to give it an 8. Let's stop you guys there. Let's see what you guys went with. 7, 8.5, 7, 8, 8, 7, 4. Pusher needs a numpad. Just a couple of 7s, 5, 9, 6, 6. Kind of a silly category. Well, hey, we agreed these last week. It's all just for fun, guys. It's all just for fun. I think you guys are probably erring on closer to a 7.5 from what you've given there, so we'll go with that. Office acceptance. Pusher is a hard man to please. He is, yeah. You should try spending the weekend with him, guys. It's a nightmare. So office acceptance. Are people going to allow you to use this in the office without asking you every 5 seconds, what on earth is that? What's on your desk? Is it, you know, is this going to fit into the office workspace? I think this is going to stand out quite a bit, and you're probably going to get a lot of comments on it. I think this is quite low in terms of office acceptance. There's going to be a lot of people talking about it. I think it's probably going to be a 4 from me. Let's see what you guys say. Jay, we never spend a weekend together. No, that's because you always leave on a Friday night after you get what you want. There we go. 10 for Pusher. 9, 6, couple of 5s, too loud. Well, we've got the volume noise level, so don't let that influence this particular score, because we've got the volume, the noise level of the office coming up. Why is your keyboard broken? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Jay Burns, 5 out of 7, perfect score. Okay, so I think you guys are basically saying that you're probably about 5 from what I see there. A couple of 10s, but a couple of 4s. Couple of 9s, lots of 5s. I think you guys are giving it a 5. I think you guys think it'll be pretty acceptable in the office. And what about the volume from a noise level perspective, guys? I don't think it's too loud. I think this is alright. So we're looking at 10, 11 for a timestamp, so anything I have to push to comment. About the noise level. It's not the quietest board. When you can hear me, it sounds great, but it's not about the sound, it's how good it sounds, it's about how noisy it is. I mean, are you struggling to hear me talk now because I'm using the keyboard? I think that that's probably about a 7. I think that's fair, 7. 6, 8, 7s, 5s, 8s, 7s, 6, 10. Donkeyfish really wants this board, he's giving it 10 for everything. I think you guys are broadly in agreement with me there. 7 for the noise. There we go. Okay. So, build score we are ignoring. So, in terms of home total score percentages, I gave it 89%. You guys gave it 90%. That's pretty close. In terms of work score percentage, I gave it 63%. You guys gave it 65%. Interesting to note that it's significantly higher for the home score than the Matrix, but it's a little bit lower for the office than the Matrix was. So I think a TKL fits more in an office environment is what we're saying there. These scores are going to be wildly out because it's taken into consideration the other rows. Let me just amend on the fly the formulas, if I can remember the right word. Okay. And it's not out of 130, it's out of 100. So let me just amend these. So just, sorry guys, I'm just amending all this because we said we wouldn't count certain things for this board. In fact, it's not, it's 120 it's out of, isn't it? Did we say that we'd got the 2 at the front? Oh no, we weren't doing the build score at all. Okay, so it's out of 100. Okay, apologies guys, apologies. I should have thought this through more at the beginning. It's only the second week we've done a J score. Okay, interestingly, that does mean that this board is the first board to get an A, with 82% from the community, 83% for the community and 82% from a J score. But it does mean that this is the first board on the J score to get an A from both the community and from myself. So just for your reference, guys, this is the standard college grading that we see across the US and the UK. Averages taken. A fail is less than 35, an E is 35 to 44, a D is anything above 45 but below 55, a C is anything below 65, an A gives up to anything greater than 75%, and then an A plus is anything over 90%. So there we go, it's solidly into the A rating. So there we go. Well, this is the actual average scores from the US and the UK. When I googled it, that's where the scores came from. So there we go. Boot Beat Beb, it's fun. It's grading scheme, it's fun. It's supposed to be a fun thing, and over time we'll see how the boards stack up against each other. To be honest, it doesn't matter what metric you use as long as you can rate boards against each other when we get to the end. So in terms of the percentages and where the splits are and stuff, it doesn't really matter in grand scheme of things, because you'll be able to look at the percentage and you'll be able to see, well, okay, we gave the Doppelgänger, the prototype, an 82%, but then when we actually looked at, I don't know, the JL1, it only got 20% or whatever. You know, you'll be able to use that as the metric and rate boards against each other. It should be everything above 0. What the hell is this grading scale? So it was something we worked out on the stream last week, but this grading scale is actually taken from the average scores taken to get those grades from the US colleges and from the UK colleges. Whatever the average of the two was, that's where the grading scales came from. It rounded up to the nearest couple. They're good boards, Jay. They're good boards, Brent. I like it. I think it'd be more useful when you get a bunch of boards on it. Absolutely. Once we get a ton of boards on there, it'd be much better to see how things compare against each other. 10 strong. If you want to do, if you want to have access to this to play around with the formulas and stuff, I'm absolutely happy to let you have a look at that. That's fine, no problem. And then you can do your scale distributions and all that kind of stuff. If you want to do that, then go ahead and do it. The final thing that I want to put on here is my hot take. So my hot take today, I'm just getting a Nathan Kim announcement. Apparently he's put up a video that you guys can go watch after the stream with Cherry MX Brown's typing sounds. There you go, guys. So my hot take for this board is, when can I have one? That's my hot take. When can I have one? Because I really like it. It's too nice, is my view. To not get a group buy. So I think there's 40 units of this, first come first serve. I'm going to be in that queue, guys. I hope you are as well, because I think it's really good and I can't wait to see the revisions. I think both Noah, West Foxtrot and Yankar have knocked it out of the park when it comes to this design. I think it's really good. My take is, if I don't get this board, I'll be very sad. Absolutely, I think about the same thing. So 10 strong, hit me up after the stream, and I will give you access to the spreadsheet so you can have a play around and do whatever you want. As long as you don't destroy it and you promise not to change anything on there too much, I will let you have access to do that. Noah, thank you very much for letting me be the first to build this. I will ship it out to you, I promise, this week. I won't hold it on to it too long. West Foxtrot, thank you for coming along and talking about the board and giving us some insight into your design process and how you made the CADs and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. Can we get a Geek Hack link? Yes, I don't have it open, but let me grab that. Hold on, I will get it. I am there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm like Petrov, he's almost there a lot. Okay, I've got it. Okay, here we go. Oh, and Von Swoopington was already there before me. There we go. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. Thank you very much to everyone for the stream. 2 hours and 17 minutes to get this board built. I'm going to get rid of the J-score and just show you this board one last time in all its glory. Look at that. Look how beautiful it is. That curvature of the cap, sorry, the covering of the caps that goes up the rows. Absolutely love that. It's a real shame we can't keep that, but on the prototype Noah, you'll always have that beautiful profile. Yeah, absolutely love it. So thanks very much, guys. I'll catch you all later. I hope you enjoyed the J-score. I hope you enjoyed the board. Go leave some comments on the Geek Hack thread. And yeah, I'll catch you back on Thursday. See you later, guys. Take care.